Hey everybody, it's Tony Schiavone of All Elite Wrestling, and this is True Hill Heat, and I said it right, you motherfuckers.
Hello. It is me, your True Hill Phenom SP3. We are right now on the True Hill Heat Patreon with our special review of Heels Stars Season 1. A complete review, episode by episode. We're going to give you our favorite characters, our favorite episodes, what we thought about the season overall. I am with my esteemed colleague, the resident True Heel marijuana enthusiast himself, Chris G.
With Mary Jane. We're on Patreon, baby. We could smoke on screen again. Yes.
No worries, I'm getting demonetized on Patreon, so Chris G is having a great time. His first time on the Patreon. How does it feel?
It feels liberating. Might just go raw. I might be extra raw today. Fuck it.
How have you been liking the True Hill Heat Patreon content so far?
I like it. I think it's dope. I like the exclusivity. Just everything that you can't find on the YouTube, you could find here. And I mean, it's only going to grow more. So we're still in the infancy stages, I guess. And it's already looking promising. So, I mean, it's all thumbs up on this side.
Absolutely. We're only 1 week old, and you guys asked for this, but we got to give it to you on the Patreon because, we want to give you something that you guys would really want that incentivizes other people to become Patreon backers as well. And a couple of you that are already Patreon backers are the few that told us they wanted this Heels Season 1 review. So we're here to talk about the best independent promotion that nobody heard of before August 15th, the Duffy Wrestling League. And we're going to be talking about the Spade brothers and their journey to superstardom and promise for this little dank promotion in small town Georgia. We're going to start off with season 1, episode 1, and we're going to work our way all the way up to season 8. Remember to tell a friend to become a Patreon backer. Only $3 a month and you get this premium content. We got up right now the Escape the Undertaker watch along. We have me and Jay News breaking down the first half of the G1 Climax 31. Yes, we can talk about New Japan on Patreon as well. Don't tell them or they'll try to copyright strike that too. And we have this right here, Heels Season 1 review. I usually do this when we do reviews for AEW Dynamite and Dark Side of the Ring. So I'll ask you, Chris, one word to describe Season 1 of Heels.
Surprising. And not based off of like what happened in the show, but the fact that you hear this concept before the show actually starts up and you're like, I don't know if it's gonna be that good. It's wrestling, you got characters, actors playing wrestlers, how is that going to translate on screen basically with a movie type production, not a wrestling production, but an actual TV show movie type production. And it surprised the shit out of me. Acting was great, plots were good. We'll get more into it, but it surprised the shit out of me.
Yes, I would say this is one of my favorite wrestling themes in media. Like, the wrestler was great, but that had more of like a sad undertone to it. Ready to Rumble, I thought was great, but that was a little too goofy. This was right in the middle of it all, in my opinion, and this hit the right tones on everything that it needed to. But yes, we're going to start off with episode 1, which was called Kayfabe. And it's a very much of a pilot episode where they tell you a lot of details. This is the one that, besides, I would say, the finale, felt most like a movie where they hit you with a lot of information. Although I will say the finale, a little spoiler, that felt really fast. This felt longer. This felt like it was like movie length for a lot of it, and it built up to, a pretty big crescendo. But it's all about the world of a small town Georgia pro wrestling promotion run by the late league's founder's son, Jack Spade. They're basically struggling in small town Georgia. Jack Spade, his brother Ace Spade is also a professional wrestler, and they have two different type of personalities. And one of the best lines of this first episode is Jack telling Ace that the audience comes because they trust me to tell them a better story than they have to live with every day, which is a microcosm of why a lot of people watch wrestling. It's an escape of sorts. And the two brothers are building up to a big showdown, a big main event matchup. But what did you think about the introduction of the two brothers, Jack and Ace Spade, Chris?
I thought it was good for the first episode because we didn't get too much backstory. So it leaves you interested, like, all right, now I really want to see like what's going on with these guys, but then you get just enough animosity and like brother bickering and shit that you're like, all right, we can tell what kind of relationship this is already, and we just want to see why it's like this and how it's gonna grow.
Yes, and the one of the first scenes, the very first scene is basically you're seeing Jack in the ring. He's versing Jimbo in a match in the main event, and you can see him writing what's going on in the ring. So he's very much the booker and the writer behind the DWL, and he beats Jimbo. We have Ace come out and run off Jack because that's the main rivalry going on, and Ace tells him to go fuck yourself or something like that, which pisses off Jack because it's a family promotion. His son is in the front row along with his wife, and then we basically from that first wrestling event, we kind of see them, in their real life. And Jack is the promoter, so he's trying to, keep the DWL afloat. They have financial woes of promoting the business with like new GoPros and fog machines. We hear little arguments between Jack and his wife Stacy as he's trying to put money into the promotion and stuff like that. And he's also dealing with a new rival Florida wrestling promotion called Florida Wrestling Dysphoria, with bombastic videos offering cheap tickets to people who promise to boycott the Spades. And then on the other side, you have Ace, and in Ace's mind, the bad guy role is like not what he wants to do. He's the face. He likes the admiration of the fans, but in reality, he's really the heel in real life, because he talks down to a local clerk at one of the stores, telling her that his dad thought that she would eat herself into an early death. And yeah, he's very cocky and he's very entitled. The younger brother of the two. What did you like about the outside the wrestling ring personas of the Spade brothers?
I mean, well, I guess you could relate to Jack as the family man. Well, I know I could relate to Jack as the family
Yeah.
man. So it's like right off the gate, it's like this guy's kind of a dick, but it's understandable why he's a dick. So it's like, all right, we can get that. And then Ace is just like you want he comes out as this baby face, right? In the beginning scene. So it's like you want to get behind this guy already. And he looks like $1,000,000. He's a white meat baby face. He's everything you might want to be, right? And then he
Yeah.
gets to a store and just acts like a dick, and he's shoplifting candy bars, and he's just like, what the, like, I'm swerved already. Like, I gotta try to get behind this guy on the show. I gotta emotionally invest into this guy, and he's robbing candy bars and fat shaming clerks and shit. I'm like, come on, man. And I mean, it's good shit though. It's good writing.
Absolutely. We see a little bit of basically, we hear a little bit about their backstory with the recent death of his father, Tom, Jack, and Ace. And you see Jack kind of juggling his family life with his son and his wife, who are patiently clipping coupons so he can buy those fog machines. He's writing the script for all the DWL talent. We also hear that Ace is a former high school football star, and he's eager to take the belt from Jack on the night. And when we get to the night of the big event, the big match between Jack and Ace, a scout that used to be a former DWL superstar named Wild Bill. and he's been sent by the upstate promotion. I kind of get the sense they were trying to go for WWE without saying WWE's name, and they want to scout Ace to become into their developmental territory and become a huge star. And Wild Bill, you could kind of get the sense, even without him saying it, that Jack feels like Wild Bill is trying to poach Ace before he's ready to have him poach. What did you think about Wild Bill's introduction to the heels universe?
Well, I think he's William Regal, and they sent him there to try to get Ace to join NXT 2.0, and he wasn't having it. No, I mean the Wild Bill character as we go on is, is just a different animal by itself. I like the introduction of him though. Like he came off as this very I don't want to say Hulk Hogan esque, but like maybe like an Ultimate Warrior type guy. Like he had his run, but now he's just like behind the scenes. He's not really that important, but he's still a legend in some sort of manner internationally, I guess, because he's this
Yeah.
Duffy legend. So when he's in Duffy, he gets treated like a king. But you know, on a wider scale, if he's just a scout, if you know wrestling, he wasn't really that big of a deal. Probably he was just he had his time, and now he's just working for Northeast, as they called it, up north.
It, it's past his time now, and
Way past.
we hear about like Ace making accusation that Jack is selfish by trying to hold on to the title, while Jack talks about that he can't have Ace win the title because that kind of is the end of their storyline, and he says that the fans are going to lose interest in the DWL if you conclude the story on this night. He wants to write a story that leaves it open ending and leaves like a new chapter, so the fans will be continue to have interest in it. We see pictures on the wall of the arena of Tom, who wrestled as King Spade, and he was the DWL champion. Jack, of course, is the current champion. Ace says he deserves to wear the belt now, but by doing so will all but ensure the family business will die without ever making any real investment in it himself. And he also is getting scouted, so it doesn't make sense for him to win the title on this night on a couple of different layers. We also meet Ace as a valet named Crystal. And our memory of Ace crying on the field after a big football loss. We get to she talks to Ace about that, and they start basically a more personal relationship with the two. And this is where a lot of the sex comes in this show. But what did you think about Crystal's introduction to the show?
Spoiler alert, she's gonna end up being one of my favorite characters on the show. But I like how they just kind of like introduce her as like, oh, she's just this valet and she's fucking Ace. But there's deeper layers into her character, and I like how they just at the first episode it's just like that's what she feels like, just like the valet
Yeah.
that's just fucking. And then I like the foreshadowing because as we'll go into the end of the episode, her bringing up that moment like, I always had a crush on you because I seen you, and the you that I seen was you crying on that field after you lost the game, the biggest game of your life,
Yeah.
and just people booing you and you just soaking it all in. So just good foreshadowing and good way to like have her try to connect on a personal level already. So she doesn't seem like just a valley like that he's fucking.
Exactly. So then we get to the match. Before the match, the two brothers are talking backstage, and Ace further establishes himself as the real life heel, as he says that it doesn't matter who wins. He was like, he's going up to the big leagues while Jack is going to stay here and probably kill himself like their father did, which leads to a big confrontation between the two men. We also meet a couple of the other side characters like Willie, who is basically Jack's number 2, who helps him run the promotion. She's like the producer, like a Kevin Dunn of sorts for WWE, or maybe a Bruce Pritchard.
Bruce, yeah.
Yeah.
Say that's Bruce.
You also got a couple of the different wrestlers. James Harrison, the former football player, is Apocalypse. You also got Bobby Pin. You also got I believe it's Rufus. So yeah, it's a eclectic class. They have their own like separate scenes where they're talking about the promotion, talking about their own careers, but we will further get to know these characters as the season goes on. But it was a nice like starting point for where they were, but it really creates this whole family field because we also, before the big event, we see them at church. We see Jimbo with his wife talking about stuff. You also see yeah, you also see kind of the community feel and how Jack and Ace can't be seen next to each other at church. So how like real it is to the fans. What about these like side characters stood out the most for you in the first episode?
Well, I mean, just because I'm a football fan, one was James Harrison. I was like, oh shit, my man James Harrison got a screen. He finally got a role, you know what I mean? Which was cool. And then I like the diversity. You got James Harrison,
Yeah.
you got Rooster, which is like the vet of the locker room. You got
Yeah.
the Cuban dude that came up from nothing and now he's just happy to be here and do what he got to do. You got Bobby Pin, who's green as fuck, but he ends up being A1 in my book. And then I feel like I'm missing somebody else, but just the diversity is cool. And then
Yeah.
Willie gives you that hard ass, no nonsense shit. But then as her character breaks down, you kind of start to feel for her. So it was a good introduction for all of
Yeah.
these characters because they all kind of play a big part in the season.
Yeah, we gotta get that like how Bobby Pin is so green when they do like they're practicing before the event and Rooster's trying to teach him how to do the flying elbow off the top rope and he really doesn't know
Yeah.
how to do it at
Or how to
all. So
sell. He's selling the shit. He's like, "Oh, did I really hurt you?" He's like, "No, I'm selling, motherfucker." Like, it's cool to see how green he is, really.
yeah, it's a good introduction to everything. But this first episode is all about this showdown between Ace and Jack for the DWL championship. Jack immediately attacks Ace, throwing him to the mat to start the match. He pulls Ace's arm behind him in a real move that causes real pain. Ace melts down, begging his big brother to stop. Jack tells the referee to call it, as the referee's like, "You're going to break his arm." And this means that Jack wins, and the audience sees Ace rolling around, handily bested by Jack, and in an easily prompted display of his immaturity, when Ace finally gets to his feet, he hits Jack and knocks him out of the ring, just as Jack knew he would, and this causes the fans to start booing Ace and chucking their popcorn and paper cups of beer and soda at him, and Ace, predictably, because of the foreshadowing by Crystal, cries in the middle of the ring and is very visibly upset. What did you think about this ending and basically the Duffy screw job going down here?
I mean, it had me like shit. Like now, I can't wait till next week. I mean, it was just a perfect ending to draw you in, not using like the wrestling or just using the drama. Really, just like I didn't know what to expect coming into this show, and the fact that it gave me drama that I actually liked, and I liked it better than the wrestling aspect of the actual show. I mean, it's good. It hit. It brought me back in for episode 2. So perfect ending, perfect foreshadowing, which I did not see coming. I didn't expect him to start crying in the middle of the ring until, of course, he lost and people start throwing trash and shit. But just
Yeah,
good job all around with the writing and
yeah.
acting. The acting was great too.
Absolutely. I just really enjoyed that ending because it was something you didn't see coming. Also, we should mention Wild Bill was in the crowd, of course, there to scout Ace, and he just turns around, totally disappointed at what he just saw, and it was safe to say at this point you knew Ace wasn't getting called up to the big time.
Nope.
Um,
No
we move
2.0 for A's.
no NXT 2.0 for Ace of Spades. Next episode, we had episode 2, which was called Dusty Finish, which very, very adequately named after the last episode. We back at the DWL, the wrestlers worry about the future of their federation. We see Apocalypse believes they'll be okay. The others aren't so sure. Rooster like is upset, and we start to see kind of Rooster's personality and how he really feels like he should be in the main event at this point in the story. They're concerned about what ramifications will be and if they'll make it up into the title picture. After all, if that's how Jack treats his own brother, then what about them? A lot of them question the motive behind Jack for doing that to Ace. Meanwhile, Ace feels like he's lost his big chance. He tries to ring Wild Bill, but he's not returning his calls. In fact, Ace's mom even kicks Crystal out, who's staying at his house, because all he can do to kind of quell his pain is have sex with Crystal, telling her that the boy is going to make a fresh start, and that start is certainly not going to come from his developmental contract, as Ace eventually receives a call from Bill, and it's not good news. He says that they're no longer interested. Elsewhere, we see Willie sits down to have lunch with Charlie Gully, who is the owner of FWD, and is none other than the former host of Nickelodeon Guts, Mike O'Malley. It literally took me until he takes off his glasses to realize
Then
that
you see it. I was like, that's fucking Michael Malley. I love Michael Malley. He's been good at everything. So I'm like, oh shit. And I didn't realize he was an executive producer until I seen the credits after this episode. So I was like, oh shit, Michael Malley. That's what's up.
And he's pretty smug about his own Fed success, and even worse, he wants to buy out the dome where the DWL trains and have their shows. Charlie is determined to blow Jack out of the water following him running his mouth about Charlie's Federation. He says, and I quote, "Jack's ego will be the downfall of the DWL. Jump ship before you go down with it," he says to Willie. He urges Willie, but she's having none of it and rejects his offer. Willie rings Jack though and tells him about the offer. After the awful main event, Ace is a no-show, and the crowd's understandably anger. It falls to Jack to try and deliver a killer script. Stacy, however, believes Jack should cancel the show, but whatever he does, it doesn't pose well for like the future of the DWL. What do you think about like this aftermath and all the different stories that they add on to what happened in the first episode here?
I mean, first and foremost, you kind of feel for Ace, right? He got embarrassed by his older brother and fucking in the middle of the ring. Everybody was watching. So he's like falls into this kind of depression and anger. And it's like, yeah, he's a dick, but he's still kind of the baby face. So you want him to rally, not only in the ring, but in life. But then at the same time, you like, Jack's a dick, but you kind of understand what he did. If your brother said you're gonna be like our dad, you're gonna kill yourself and shit like that, I'm going out and shooting on him too. Like it's kind of understandable as bad as it seems. And Gully, just a piece of shit as we go on. And it took me now to realize like what he was doing, actually trying to do like throughout the whole season. But he starts with Willie, just trying to get the right hand of Jack, basically, to no avail. So it's a good introduction for him. I thought it was going to be like a one-off, like he's probably only here for one episode. Like this rivalry, it's just like going to be in the background, but then it expands. So it was a pretty good introduction for that.
Because you kind of want to, you know who the antagonist and the protagonist is on, the DWL, but you don't know who it is in the show, and that's who Gully basically turns into. He's really the antagonist of this whole thing because he's the one that's trying to destroy the DWL. With Ace, he's out drinking hard liquor and causing problems around town. It falls to Jack to head out and try to find his baby brother. Ace wanders into a sports bar where he riles up the crowd. He slurs his word and ends up antagonizing an old school buddy. He comes to the bar because that's where Rooster works, and he causes problems where Rooster makes his living outside of wrestling, so that's never going to be a good thing. uh the school buddy is Travis by the pool table, and eventually ends up booed by the crowd. Ace even swears again as things start getting intense with Travis. Crystal shows up, and she shows up with Jack, and they basically we this is where we finally see the Spade brothers like team up with one another as they fight off everybody in the bar that is upset with Ace. Outside of the bar, they try and these guys try to like continue the fight with the Spade brothers, and it's Crystal who comes in with a Hurricane Rada to end the conflict outside of the bar. What did you think about the Spade brothers finally teaming up for once, and then Crystal showing off her wrestling expertise?
Well, that part was lit. Like you seeing the brothers just beat people up in the bar. Like, yeah, finally, right? But we all kind of like when we see Ace kind of turn on the crowd during the
Okay.
karaoke, and Crystal has that face, that look on her face, like, huh, we might be onto something. Even Jack has it.
Exactly.
And if you're a wrestling fan, then you're like, you got to turn this motherfucker heel now. He just
He's
went
a
heel.
real life heel. That's
Yeah.
naturally his position.
Yeah, he turned on the Christ on the crowd to go fuck themselves. Like, yeah, this is the Jack, this is the Ace Fade I want. But just them beating up everybody was a nice scene. And then once you see Crystal hit the Hurricane Rana, you're like, all right, like she's more than a valet. Like now I really want to see Crystal the character. Not only Crystal in the ring, but Crystal the character, because there's more to her that meets the eye.
Absolutely. We then go, Jack drops Ace back at home, who outright admits that he hates his brother. Ace sees through Jack's genius facade and refers to him as a failed lawnmower salesman. And he says that, he said, and I quote, "You ruined my life." And Jack stews over the words and walks away. And he's not wrong, because Ace is kind of broken at this point. Jack's ego certainly got the best of him that night, and he messed up Ace's big shot to make it pro. So we go to Jack's not the one who pushed Ace into wrestling. Was the one who pushed Ace into wrestling originally, and we'll get to see that a little bit more later on, like a couple of episodes later. Standing outside with Crystal, she mentions how good Ace would actually be as a heel to Jack, and given the booze and antagonizing, it's a great point, and that's where you can see the ideas moving in Jack's head, and how he's gonna perpetrate or elevate that heel turn we're gonna get to know in the next episode. Unfortunately, our trio of other wrestlers are concerned about their chances. Rooster seriously considers jumping ship for FWD if they come calling, while Apocalypse mentions the good things DWO are building and tries to talk him out of it, and tells him to, have a conversation with Jack. Outside the medical center, they're all there because Jimbo's wife is giving birth to his first child. Ace and Jack end up talking about their situation. Jack pleads with Ace to come back. If Ace agrees, Jack promises him new storylines and no booze. And that's going to be difficult, of course, because of what we've seen with the fans booing him after that big moment. Eventually, the brothers do head back into the medical room, where Big Jim welcomes his son into the world. As Jack gets back into working, Stacy starts doing homework. She swigs beer from the can and mows their massive lawn. And this is like after she kills what was it? It was like a squirrels.
I think it was squirrels. Yeah.
Yeah, it was squirrels in the attic, which she's told him about this whole entire episode. Stacy just says fuck it. She does it herself and starts mowing the lawn and drinking beer at the same time. And it shows that Stacy is starting to like have a bigger hand at home, as Jack is just totally focused on the DWL. What did you think about everything that went down with the brothers being there for Big Jim's big moment with his son, and then Stacy taking control of the house?
Well, I think Stacy's the shit. That's first and foremost. We all need a woman like Stacy. No, Stacy's cool. But the whole like Big Jim thing, he retires because he doesn't he wants to get the baby now, so he wants something more secure and shit like that. So we won't be seeing Big Jim around that much. But you realize like he's kind of like the guy in between that could bring the brothers together, because he's such like close friends with both of them. So he's able to talk to both of them and keep it real with them, and they'll both understand. So that's cool to see. And he promised Ace all this shit, but at the end of the day, we know Ace is gonna go back in that ring and get booed. You know, but at this point, you want to keep him happy, just tell him what he wants to hear so he could join and shit. So
Yeah.
once again, it's understanding Jack being a dick, but understanding why he's being a dick. And then the stuff at home, it's like you kind of got to be there at home. Like you should be taking care of those responsibilities first. But especially for guys like us, where we get those creative juices flowing, and sometimes it's kind of hard to pull back, and you just want to get that shit out and go in that direction and just succeed in that direction. It's understandable. It's relatable. So it's hard to find that balance, but Jack got to find that balance.
Yeah, or he might end up like his father, which we learn about in the next episode, which is episode 3, Cheap Heat. We see Tom King Spade is going for a run through Duffy, passing by waving neighbors, the dome, and a billboard touting a ladder match starring King Spade. It reads "Long live the king," but live long he didn't. Tom gets back home and mows the lawn. He hangs a sign reading Carol's Garden for his wife. He spots a deer in the yard and goes to his bedroom dresser to get a gun. We think that it's to shoot the deer away, but he walks out on the porch, aims the gun under his chin, and pulls the trigger. Ace is home. He hears the shot, and he comes into the living room, a blanket wrapped around his bare chest, and he walks out on the porch, looks down, and begins to shake. What did you think about this intro? Because I thought that this was like the craziest first 5 minutes of the season.
Oh, definitely. And it's the fact that so like he builds this nice little garden and shit, and he hooks it up. He does all the hard work, and he got all of this everything set up. Like he feels like please, like all right, I got all this good done, and then to turn around for 2 minutes and then look back and see a deer done fucked up the garden and is all over the lawn, and basically put his hard work like it's kind of like a metaphor like about what happened with the league. He worked
Yeah,
his whole life to make this DWL something big, and then at the end of the day you'll find out why it didn't turn out that as big as he hoped, and it's like all that hard work for nothing. So then he goes and gets the gat, and you're like, all right, he's gonna go shoot this fucking like poor deer. Like it's a wrap for this deer, and then he just 2 seconds. It just takes 2 seconds for you just see him turn it on himself and pull the trigger, and it's like, oh shit! Like all right, now we know how he killed himself. But then the fact that Ace was in the crib and then he comes down and sees it, it's like now I can understand why this guy's a little fucked up, or why
yeah.
both of these guys are a little fucked up. So this is like where you start to really relate with both guys. Like, okay, like I know why I know why there's something wrong with both of these dudes.
Yeah, and this is kind of the episode where you kind of get to understand that Jack like reached low levels of manipulation because he's the one that talked Ace into becoming a wrestler, coming to the DWL, and he did it after his dad passed away. Like, and it was at a point where Ace wanted to basically agree to anything that would bring him closer to his father and his father's legacy. Jack's present day maneuvering becomes even more flagrant as he tries to force Ace to become the DWL heel, and he asks him early on in this episode, what is wrong with being a heel? And Ace responds, you're the fucking heel, I'm the fucking face, dad was a face, and get that through your fucking head. And Jack responds though with, dad was a face, Tom Spade was a face? Yeah, because he was a good guy. He was a real good guy. He knew that you were home. Oh, I thought that this was like between that opening and this exchange between the two brothers, it was just like, wow, this is some powerful shit right here. What did you think?
I mean, it had me more interested or intrigued rather, like more about about Tom Spade. Cause now once he
Yeah,
says that, it's like, all right, you can sense the animosity with Jack and Tom, or the animosity that they had.
yeah,
But is it just Jack being a dick, or was Tom really a dick? And we haven't seen it yet. Or I mean, he kind of has a point, right? Is he the face? He did kill himself while his kid was home from like a college stay or some shit. It looked like
yeah,
because he had his I forgot what. I think he was playing for like Georgia or some shit, like one of these
yeah.
college universities, and he has the blanket on him. So you assume that he's just there visiting family, trying to be home, and to see this, it's just like now it makes you wonder what did Tom Spade do to make Jack feel like this?
Yes, and we would learn that as the season went on. We get a little bit more of a sex action in the laundry room at the Dome, where Crystal engages in some pre-game loving with Ace to calm him down after Jack's cruel words. Jack's exploitation isn't solely reserved for his brother either. He convinces Bobby that he's going up against Ace in this week's main event because he's good, when in reality it's because Jack sees Bobby as someone who carry out Jack's storyline. And this basically makes Rooster very unhappy. He confronts Jack about getting his shot at the DWL title. Jack tells him it will happen when it's right for the narrative, but Rooster doesn't believe it. He thought things might be different when Jack took over the business. Another hit at Tom's management style there, but he tells he tells Ace that championship belt only really stands out against a white background.
Yeah,
And this was just an episode full of lines.
We should mention that Rooster's black, or with Spanish. Well, he's actually Hispanic, but he's in between.
Well, the character Rooster is black.
Yeah, character
Yeah,
Rooster is black.
yeah. But wow, I was just like, damn, this whole episode just got some great lines in it, and like over the episode, you kind of feel the resentment that Rooster has for Bobby because he was in basically Bobby's first match in the first episode. He's teaching him how to be a wrestler, teaching him how to sell, teaching him how to do the elbow drop, and now Bobby's in the main event, and Rooster's still waiting for his shot. What did you think? I feel like this was the episode where really Rooster started standing out as a character and his storyline.
Yeah, and I mean the best part about it is that it's real, right? I mean,
Yeah.
Listen, I'm not in the business. I'm not in any locker rooms, but there's got to be that one vet in every locker room who's like, this fucking young punk is getting this shot over me. And it's just an ego thing. The guy might not even be that bad, but it's just the fact that the young guy, is getting hot shotted for whatever reason. So it feels real. And then you kind of feel for Rooster too. It's like, and then with the underlying like racism tone, like, oh, it's because I'm black. I mean, it's like that does happen, and especially in the territory shit going down south and shit like that. This problem might still exist, and we don't know about it. It's being more common now because it's 2021. We have black champions all over the place, headlining multi-billion-dollar companies. You know what I mean? So we're in the right step, but this shit could still persist in like southern states or more western states. You never know. So I like the realism of that. It makes you feel for both guys, and then you also understand on Jack's as a booker and a promoter, like you don't fit the narrative right now for like to be in the main event slot. I got you, and he tries to play him like, you don't know my real name. Like, what's my real name? And then Jack basically breaks down his facts and like his background. Like,
exactly.
Just because I'm your boss doesn't mean we're not like family. Like, I love you, I respect you, but it's when the time is right, and I can't do it right now. So he tries to explain that to him. Rooster's gonna feel how he feels. You can relate with both guys.
Yeah, you really could. Like, there's no heel and face in this type of like relationship between Jack and Rooster, but there is with Rooster and Ace, because Rooster is someone who loves wrestling and has been working in the league since he was like a teen, and he's sharing with this painfully unaware Ace who sees himself as just as wronged as Rooster because of what Jack did to him, and he's the one that kind of finally makes Ace realize that his face days are over. He says, and I quote, "That dog won't hunt anymore." Rooster crows after Ace cries in the ring. And so Ace takes cheap shots at Bobby during the match, follows it up. But before the match, actually, he cuts a promo in the ring where he's been like practicing this promo the whole time. He talks with Jack about the promo, and Jack's like, "Oh, yeah, that's perfect. That's great. And he's like trying to ad lib some stuff that, Jack didn't put into the script. He goes out and he does the promo, and the fans pelt him with fucking Kleenexes. And this was foreshadowed earlier in the episode. We see a scene that we think is just completely unrelated, where Jack arrives at the dome, and a lady, I think it's a lady, that gives him a box of He gives him the box of the Kleenexes. He brings it into the dome. We think that this is just unrelated or something completely different, and then we realize what it is when Ace does his promo and he gets pelted with the Kleenexes. Crystal, of course, is there with them. What did you think about that little scene there?
I mean, I didn't get it until I was like, oh, this motherfucker ordered the Kleenex. He got people throwing Kleenex at his own brother, which is smart because he does want to turn him heel. He does want to keep him happy. So you do both by saying, this white meat babyface promo sounds perfect. Go ahead and spew that bullshit, knowing that the crowd's not going to take it and they're going to throw Kleenexes on him. So then you get you get the reaction from Ace after that, hopefully realizing, hey man, I got to be a fucking heel because these people don't like me. So fuck the people. Let me just say that and see where it goes.
Yes, and we see that during the matchup where he gets in cheap shots on Bobby. He follows it up with some good arrogance towards the crowd. Boos erupt from the crowd, and he's greeted by cheers from his cohorts backstage. He leans even further into his heel role though when he tells Crystal, who's like giving him praise for what he did, and says she's not his girlfriend. He also calls Willie a bitch, and he's like, and then Jack pulls him over to the side and tells him, that's what you wanted, right? I'm a heel now. And it seems like this is the moment where we realize that Ace doesn't realize that this is all a script, and he really feels hated by the people, so he leans in to what his natural inclination is to be a heel. So what did you think about that whole ordeal with the main event with Bobby and then the aftermath after?
I mean, the whole main event shit went perfect because it's like, all right, like he got the heat now. The people are booing the shit out of him. The boys are hyped about it. Everybody in the back is hyped about it. But then he comes out in the back and acts like a little bitch. And you're like, come on, Ace, like get it together, bro. Like you did something good, but now you're being fucking salty about it. And part of it is not really his fault because he never was really in the business. He just got thrown in there, at once Jack wanted to make some changes. So it's like he doesn't quite fully understand the wrestling business and how it works. But at the same time, it's like, stop being emotional, little bitch, man. Stop being moisty. Fucking just man up. Stop crying.
Little brother crying and shit. Well, the numbers are up this week, but it's not just because of, the whole Ace angle. It's morely because we have one of the first big major guests of this season, which is none other than CM Punk playing crowd favorite Ricky Rabies, who comes complete with a drone propelled and fake blood spewing from a possum and a hissing valet named Vicky, who cooks up the blood, and she has her own moments backstage, kind of teaching Crystal how to be a valet and be there for him, and how you always have to be there for your man, which Crystal kind of takes that and gives Ace some loving before the match, before he tells her he's not his girlfriend. It was Ace. Ace became the heel everyone wanted him to be. He tells Willie Jack tells Willie it was the right move, and he was going to see that in time. But yeah, I love the Ricky Rabies part with this, and the spewing of the possum with the blood, and the match with Jack. What did you think about CM Punk's contributions to this first episode here in with episode 3?
I mean, he played the role great, right? But then I like how in the beginning he's like, so we had a family-friendly crowd and shit. We can't be having you spitting blood at people. So it's like, no, that was good. It's family-friendly now. I changed it up. And then to bring out a drone and fucking fake possum blood, it just had me laughing. But he played the character good. And I like how, this whole time you think he got his kid. It feels like this one big family, right? Like he married his valet, his wife, that's his girl, that's his wife, that's his partner, whatever. They got the family. So the valet's trying to give Crystal these tips and shit like that. Yeah, you got to do whatever it takes. You got to learn your partner so you could keep them happy and, learn how to, maneuver them. And then at the end, Ricky Ravis is getting in the car. He's like, we got to hurry up because Bonnie's calling.
And Crystal's like, who's Bonnie? And
the valet, I was like, oh, that's his wife. not all relationships are traditional. I was like, Ricky Rabies, you motorboating son of a bitch. You dirty dog, you motherfucker. So I mean, just have you like, oh shit. And then you could also see the disappointment on Crystal's face, like, I don't want to be that type of valet, you know what I mean? So it was just like a nice little interesting twist for me. It just made me go, oh shit.
Dipping on the side, you motorboat son of a bitch. Indeed, indeed. The side storyline to all of this with Ricky Rabies, Jack and Ace's heel turn is Stacy. She has like her college friends come to town for dinner and drinks, and they get all the stuff for free or take like a percentage off because the waiter is a big fan of the DWL, and that makes the college friends be interested about like, oh, what are you're like the queen of a whole wrestling promotion. So she takes them to the whole show there. At the end, it comes like a confrontation between Jack and Stacy when they're heading home, where she tells them that you're spending all your time either at work. This is also the first episode we kind of see Jack at work at the lawnmower store, or he's at the Dome. She tells him that he spends almost no time with Thomas, and how she can't even get him to commit to a date night at the local movie theater. So you kind of see the growing animosity that Stacy has towards all the time that Jack is putting into everything else that he's doing. She asks him about going on vacation to Machu Picchu because one of her friends mentions that, and he automatically drops the needle on of excuses why he can't, and then accuses her of trying to pick a fight, and she's unleashes a bunch of like pent up anger and resentment. She's like, he said that you came to the show, you got to have some drinks with your friends, everybody had a good time, and then Stacy says, and then they got to leave. I was starting to wonder if you'd let Thomas live with me. So it's a lot of we kind of see the relationship kind of to splinter out between Stacy and Jack. What did you think about that little ending that we had here?
I mean, it makes sense. Every marriage is going to have its problems, and she has a rightful gripe. She feels like he's not spending enough time, not only with her, but with the kid, which is important. So it's like,
Yeah.
it's understandable. But I like how, like the very first episode, she's singing in the choir. She feels like this holy church girl and shit like that. But as the episodes go more and more, she gradually says fuck more and more. And I'm a fan of that. So like by episode 3 or 4, she's like, well, fuck, Jack. Like it's about, so I'm like, this is great. You start to see her unravel a little bit and stand up for herself. And you feel for her. I mean, it's understandable. You can't really argue with her. You got to be like, come on, Jack, get your shit together. Your wife's hot, by the way. Maybe you want to fuck her once in a while.
Yeah, and just as we think the episode's gonna end, we see Willie arriving at her yard, and it's none other than Wild Bill in her backyard, and he says that he messed up, he fucked up pretty bad, and
he's
then
been calling her that whole episode. He was blowing up her phone, and she kept denying it.
Because we had small references to it because he was calling her the whole episode. Then there was also like some video they were showing in the back in the locker room, and they were like, oh, this is Wild Bill, you see him, he's on the plane or whatever. And then the next episode we get more into that, and the next episode is Sometimes That's the Way Sad Comes Out, and it's about Wild Bill and how he fucked up pretty bad. And yes, it was well worth the wait because Wild Bill Styles means that he also puts on a good show while doing it. The mess up, Bill learns about the newly designed championship belt that the nameless corporate promotion, WWE, wants him to promote. The belt is gigantic, it's flashy, and it has lights on it. It looks like Naomi's old SmackDown Women's Championship. All the better to entice young wrestling fans to buy knockoffs from the toy store. Bill hates it. He thinks it needs some sound effects, maybe a beep and a boop and shit. He says, and I quote, naturally, the suits don't catch his sarcasm and love the idea. This corporate toy making doesn't sit well to Wild Bill, considering he's fractured his skull and gotten 2 knee replacements during his wrestling career, and now he's basically just one of their like corporate soldiers. We next see Bill sitting out of place in first class, pounding those little bottles, you know, the little nips from the airplane hooch,
The top guy JJ special.
two at a time at that. Completely schnockered, he grabs his travel bag and he a few more bottles, and he locks himself in the bathroom, only then to burst out wearing a feathered vest, pulling a Ric Flair like it was the plane ride from hell, with a cowboy hat and the championship belt prototype and nothing else. He whoops and hollers and stomps down the aisle, putting the belt and everything below it on display. Cell phones and iPad cameras captured the moment, and in short, it goes viral. I think that this was the best way to follow up with the start to last week's episode, to the previous week's episode, was this start here. Naturally, the corporate league is displeased with his shenanigans and orders him to lay low, and this brings us back to Bill's arrival at Willie's big fancy house, complete with a massive backyard and a pond. And this pond would get into play a lot of different times by Wild Bill. But what did you think about this start here?
I mean, I like when Bill was explaining like why the belt meant so much to him, because he names his injuries, and then he goes, "I didn't travel roads with like countless souls that are now 6 feet under because they want to die for that belt, and you got me here promoting it like it's a fucking toy, basically." Something along those lines. But I was like, damn, I feel that, because like when you look at the wrestling business, dudes be dropping, and they really put all those years on their body and took years away from their life for that championship, like especially
Yeah.
in the older days. So you feel that, and then just like him coming out with the thing, and then like his meat is hanging below the belt, and
Schlonging.
everybody that approaches him about the video though, he's like, "But it's impressive, right?" He's like, "I got some age on me, but I'm still powerlifting and shit like that." I was like, "Yo, this fucking guy's a trip." Like after that episode, I was like, how can you hate this guy? He's hilarious.
Yeah, I mean it's always hilarious. Wild Bill, Wild Bill became the comic relief of this series for sure. And we see him back at Willie's house. He's talking to, you know, the teenage daughter. Willie has a nice marriage to a button up guy named Ted, and this all bothers Bill because we learned that Willie once dated him years ago. He passive aggressive says Ted's pancakes are too dry, and then he smothers them with syrup. He then giddily shows him the viral video of his natural blessings. He's a complete asshole in every way, but of course he genuinely loves his job and respects the sport. To have his fellow wrestlers physical tolls and sacrifices reduced to a beeping and bopping and hunk of plastic at Target, he said he's not too much into, and that's the reason why he did what he did. That's what Ace. And then we get to more like a family dinner with the Spade family back at Grandma Spade's house. And Ace shows up late. Thomas is there, Jack, Stacy, and they all have like a small fire at their house. During the pre-dinner grace, Thomas gives a sweet blessing to his late granddad in heaven, only to have it rejected by Grandma Spade, Carol. Jack and Ace's mother, who reminds the table that Tom is in hell for killing himself, and tells Thomas, "Your granddad is on fire for eternity." Unsurprisingly, Carol's bitter words make it tough for Thomas to sleep later that night. So Uncle Ace is this is where we see kind of Ace's softer side. He helps make sense of why his grandma would be so hostile when actually she's really devastatingly sad. Sometimes that's the way sad comes out, he tells his nephew. And when Thomas asks why his granddad Tom killed himself, Ace says his spirit was broken. What did you think about the dinner with the Grace, Grandma Spade going heel, and then Ace showing his softer side there?
I mean, the dinner got dark real fast. I wasn't expecting that. I was expecting maybe like an argument between Jack and Ace, but I wasn't expecting your granddaddy's in hell. He's on fire. I wasn't expecting that one. And then that's when you see Sandy fuck Carol. I was like, oh shit. It's like shit is getting real now. And then once again, Ace brings you back, and you're like, "Oh, this guy's a dick, but he's kind of a good guy." So it's like you want to pull for him, but then it's just like, damn, it's like a roller coaster with Ace throughout these seasons, this season. So this is one of the high points for Ace, where you're like, all right, maybe he does have a heart, or his soft spot is for his nephew.
Yeah, but it kind of foreshadows things when he says that he's devastated, his spirit was broken, talking about his dad, but that's really how he feels, that Jack like wrote him off as a heel. So, and the way he treats people in real life, he kind of is becoming a heel with the way he talked to Helen Cooper at the grocery store, the way he treats Crystal, and he starts to see that between wrestling and real life heeldom, it kind of blurs, and he spends an impromptu afternoon watching Wild Bill take out his frustrations on a fellow bar patron when he meets him at the bar. This is when he meets a bartender, hot looking bartender that wants a little bit of a fancy time with Ace, starts to flirt with him a little bit. Bill tells Ace that he has a vicious side inside him, just like his father Tom did. Tap that vein and riches will flow, Bill advises. But when he talks to Jack about DWL promos, Jack warns Ace about taking his heeldom home with him and learning how to separate himself from his character. Later, Ace confesses his anger and sadness to Carol, how he hears the gunshot from Tom's gun over and over at night and has trouble sleeping. Carol basically tells him to ignore his feelings, but he knows the only way to move forward is to sort through them. And so maybe it's Ace who should be the one doling out advice to Wild Bill and not the other way around, from how this whole sound. What did you think about Ace's little journey between like realizing that there needs to be a fine line between wrestling and real life?
I mean, one guy you don't want to listen to, right, is a Wild Bill, especially after he just pulled his dick out on a plane and is basically getting the heat from Northeast. You know what I mean? So that whole scene was fun though, because you see how much of a dick Wild Bill is, but you also see how like intertwined he is with his character, whereas like it's not even a character anymore; it's just him. So it's like it shows you both sides, because then when you see Jack struggles with it, but he really does try to separate the man from the character. It's just tough because he's the booker and the owner, and he's trying to handle so much at one time. So you see both sides of one guy who can't separate it, and he's just that character now, and the one guy closest to him that is struggling, but he's trying to separate the character.
Indeed. And speaking of Wild Bill, he goes on his own journey, before and after the meeting up with Ace at the sports bar. He said he finds out his forced timeout wasn't just a blip, and he learns after a cold call in which he's politely and professionally given the boot. And he responds with saying, "That's just about the most insincere thing I ever heard in my fucking life." I love it.
They future endeavored him. And he pulled a Carl Anderson. You're full of shit.
Absolutely. Bill doubles down though, and on his sadness, and alienates Willie, who's the only person who's truly there for him. During the chat and the smoke on his yarn on her lawn after he pisses in her pond, he walks about and about how he thinks Jack is to blame for Tom's death, before saying some truly awful things about Willie's husband and daughter to her, and saying that he would have helped her abort her daughter.
Like the last one.
Yes.
They already been through that.
Tough stuff. Willie punches him hard many times. He pulls a punch towards her, and she doesn't even flinch. And then he says, "That's what I love about you." The next morning, he's kicked out by Ted and told to go to an interstate motel and has vacant rooms. When Jack goes to the motel to tell Bill to stay away from Ace, he sees a completely bobbled and barely able to function Bill at the ice machine. Bill is clearly suffering from his old wrestling injuries and in immersed pain. So Jack quietly leaves, and instead of telling him off. Not that little pain makes Bill have a quiet quiet night. After returning to his room with the ice and pouring a few more libations in a cup, he digs through a duffel bag for one of his old costumes, and he puts it on and climbs to the roof of the motel where he he chugs from the bottle and jumps up and down, shouting to his neighbor, "Wild Bill Hancock, I am here. I'm alive. Wake the fuck up, y'all." What did you think about this ending and then the downward spiral for Wild Bill?
I mean, it was cool seeing him, like the part with Jack when he's like peeking around and he sees him all fucked up, and it's like you finally see a vulnerable Wild Bill, because you don't really see that like at all throughout the season. He's always in character. He's always no
Yeah,
selling. You don't sell shit, right? So it's good to see that vulnerability finally for Wild Bill. But then just getting on top of the, just getting all fucked up and getting on top of the hotel and just yelling and shit. It's like this guy. It's like you want to hate him because he's not a good person, but like he's such a like funny and just wild character, no pun intended. It's just like it makes you laugh. It's needed in this show. That character was needed.
indeed, indeed. And that the episode 4 was actually called Cutting Promos, which leans into the next episode, which is called Swerve. And yes, this is one where it was interesting because in the last episode, part with Ace and Crystal and Bobby Pin, they start like doing promos to promote the steel the next show that's gonna have a big steel cage match with Bobby and Ace. And it's more like a movie style, and you kind of see that Ace is kind of back into the wrestling portion in this. They kind of like rebounded from him like being off off his game due to being a heel, and all of that goes to the shitter in this episode. Because the Big Show up north, firing Wild Bill. Wild Bill is kind of bitter towards the DWL coming into this episode. Jack and the DWO have an opportunity to perform at the South Georgia State Fair, an event that would put Jack, Ace, Crystal, Bobby, Rooster, Diego, and the rest of the crew in front of 10,000 people to be cheered and booed. It would be the biggest audience in the DWL has ever seen, and Bill wants in on that action. To seal the deal with the fair folks, though, Jack has planned a special night at the Dome, and one that will wow the wrestling fans on the wrestling prospect wrestling fans of the fair on planning their show. Top billing will be a steel cage match between Ace and Bobby, and the winner will be the first to climb out of the fence circled ring. But real life is going to intrude on Jack's script, as we would find out in this episode. Before we get there, he sits down with them. They sit down with him and Thomas is basically the one that sells the fair on what's going on after a conversation with his dad, where his dad kind of tells him, your Uncle Ace is not really a bad guy. He's really a good guy. This is just, the story. And he tells him about the story. Thomas kind of tells it in his own way to the fair folks. And that really sells them on the idea of the DWO before they even get to the event. What did you think about the conversation between Jack and Thomas, and then Thomas being the salesman for the state fair?
I mean, I like the convo with Thomas between just him and Jack, but then it kind of is like a moot point, like going forward as we see in later episodes. But the way he sold it, I mean, it makes sense because a fair is primarily for families. So if you could have a little kid, which you're going to have a lot at a fair, invested into this product, and he's selling it like it's the greatest thing in the world, then of course it's going to make the fair people go, oh shit, maybe we're onto something. Maybe we can have these wrestling guys. So it was a nice touch, and it makes sense from a business point. So it's not like one of those cheesy scenes like, oh, the little kid pulled off the miracle and sold the event. No, from a business aspect, it makes sense. So it was just once again, good writing and good job all around.
Yes, and like I was saying with the promos before on the first episode, that's where we kind of see like a friendship develop between Crystal and Bobby. And then on the beginning of this episode, Bobby shows up at Crystal's place. They start jumping on their trampoline, and this is when Ace comes up to Crystal's house to kind of try to mend their relationship, and he sees like too many friendly moments between Crystal and Bobby, so he announces to Jack and Willie that Church's chicken loving Trisha, the bartender from Cooper's, with whom he started an affair with last week, is his new valet. Crystal doesn't get the news straight from the horse's mouth. She hears it from Jack instead, who quickly crafts a storyline in which Ace breaks up with Crystal right before the cage match, saying that he caught her smooching up on Bobby. He'll introduce Trisha as Crystal's replacement, and Crystal will now valet for Bobby because the two of them are in love. This doesn't spend too well with Crystal, who was kind of getting into the whole act with Ace there. What did you think about Ace kind of jealousy rearing its ugly head here?
Once again, another reason to be like, Ace, you stop being an emotional, moisty little bitch. You just bagged yourself another piece, right? You got yourself a new valet, and now you're upset because you put yourself in this predicament. Like, come on, Dick. Like, get over yourself. It's just, it goes from seeing his awesome idea of that whole like movie type atmosphere where they filmed the promo for the match, where you're like, all right, Ace, like you're starting to get your shit together. You're being creatively involved. You got these good ideas. You're starting to have some teamwork and build with the rest of the team. And now back to being emotional little Ace. It sucks.
Sucks. And she's starting to get into Bobby because Bobby's nice guy routine beats the hell out of Ace's moodiness and tantrums. But that feeling that her professional career is kind of in the loop is kind of what the thing that breaks her, because she just gambled her paycheck from the convenience store to win some scratch money to buy the new outfit Willie ordered her to wear for the evening, and now this all messed everything up. The messiness provides just the opening Bill needs, though, as we will find out later in the show. But let's talk about that the big cage match. Before the cage match, this is when Ace is supposed to cut his promo about how he found out. We even see earlier in the show Willie doing fake photos of Bobby and Crystal kissing with one another in the laundry room. That Ace is going to show. But before Ace can even cut his promo, Crystal fucking goes into business for herself. She cuts her own promo about how Bobby is more of a man than Ace has ever been, how she's in love with Bobby Pin now, totally gets over with the crowd. The crowd is heavily in Crystal's corner, and this kind of gets them more into the matchup. But once again, Moisty Ace is not too happy with this, and he goes insane. And in one of probably the most gruesome moment of the season, he locks Bobby Pin into a leg lock. Jack is there as the referee midway through this cage match. He like just talks shit to Crystal, like, "Don't you fucking go off script." Oh man, he's pissed. Jack is just pissed. Jack is always pissed whenever someone goes off the script. Like, that's the worst thing that he wants. And then but like I said, Ace locks Bobby Pin into a leg lock and completely snaps the bone out of the skin of Bobby Pin to win the match and to firmly injure Bobby right in front of the state fair officials and the whole crowd. This is like a gruesome moment. Everybody is kind of frightened. Bobby Pin is stretchered out, and yeah, this is like probably one of the most memorable moments of the season. What did you think about Crystal going off the script and this cage match ending in the way it did?
Well, I mean, so the promo that Crystal cut was because Wild Bill had approached her previously, and Wild Bill basically planted the seed, like, if you're not getting what you want, sometimes you got to fucking go into business for yourself and change the game plan. And that's what Crystal did. Not knowing that Ace was gonna fucking lose it, go into moisty mode, and then break somebody's leg. So you kind of feel for Crystal, but then at the same time, it's like don't go into business for yourself because shit like this happens. And then Ace, of course, just when you got him, Ace is cool, yeah. Fucking breaks Bobby Pin's leg. Who throughout the show you start to realize Bobby Pin is genuinely the nicest guy on the show. Like he
Yes.
has a heart of gold. He works like as security as a second job. He fucking lives in a trailer. It was his granddad's trailer, so he keeps it in tip top shape as a homage to him. Like this guy he's going to heaven. Out of anybody in this show, if you believe in heaven, he's going to like he might not even said fuck once in this show. Like, but not even when he was apologizing when he got his leg
Yeah.
broken. He's like, I'm sorry, boss. We fucked up. And he's like, it's not your fault. Like, you didn't do anything wrong. And he's apologizing to Jack for potentially ruining the fact that they're not going to be at the state fair. So that's just how much like Bobby draws you in as a character. It's just like, now that's one guy you want to root for 100%. And then Ace is just like, get your shit together, bro. Like now you're breaking people's leg. Like now you're unsafe. Now you're on no fly zone. Like you getting X every time we see you.
Yeah, that was that moment. The X went up. Oh man, yeah. It was just really bad. But like you said, yeah, Wild Bill is the one that kind of Crystal was the match. He was the one that lit it. Yeah, it's because he tells her to push. He tells her fortune must be enticed to reveal itself, and he's the one that tells her, put your hair back and when you enter the ring because it's her face the fans want to see. And he's really this is like the first episode, he's really behind Crystal, and he sees that she's a lot more than just a valet in a lot of ways, and he's the one that kind of, yeah, like I said, it's the match that lits everything. And Crystal also calls out Trisha, and she gets booed ridiculously with the fans loving Crystal. And wow, it was just crazy.
I think this is the episode too where they kind of get into like the altercation in the back. Like Trisha tries to be all snarky, and Crystal just fucking shoves her like, "What, bitch? Like you want to go?" So they already had the animosity going into the ring, which was cool.
Yes, and then this is when Wild Bill uses the misfortune and the fans being down after that ending to jump into the ring and cut a promo and talking about, how people are from the state fair are here. So what we're going to do at the state fair, he wants to challenge both Jack and Ace to a ladder match for the DWL championship. Jack comes out with the title still in his referee shirt and accepts the challenge. And that's when at the end of the episode, we go to a medical center where all the folks from the DWL are there to check on Bobby as he's having surgery on his leg. We have an altercation between Ace and Jack, where Jack puts him against the wall, almost tries to like break his arm after what he did to Bobby. And this is when Thomas sees that, what his dad told him at the beginning of the episode about wrestling not being real is that sometimes it does get real, and the line is really blurred of what Ace thought Ace learned in the last episode. Maybe it's not a lesson learned already, but Thomas learns a very bad lesson because now he feels that wrestling is real. And then we also hear a phone call that Jack gets from the state fair people, and he learns that the DWL got the state fair. So what did you think about the aftermath after Bobby Pin's injury with Wild Bill and what happened at the medical center?
I mean, the Wild Bill promo was cool because it got the fans reinvested, which is good because might have been what got them the fair. So it's a bittersweet feeling because they did get the fair. Now you got something to look forward to, a 10,000 seat event. But at the same time, it's like the kid just seen his dad fucking assault his uncle, which is basically like his hero. And then at the same time, you still have this animosity between the brothers. So it's like, yeah, you got the state fair. And Willie kind of sums it up because she's like, hey, we got the Spade turn, tells her, hey, Willie, we got the fair. And she's like, great, which is like cool, but we got bigger problems, so it's like bittersweet.
Yeah, and she's not too happy about Bill being involved with the DWL after all their problems. I love in Bill's promo, he says he's here to enjoy the 3 F's: food, fishing, and fornication, and the crowd loves it. and, and he says that that was his plans before what the Spade brothers were doing and making a mockery of Tom's legacy. So he's here to reclaim the DWL championship. Yeah, outside of that, I mean, that's like the big portion of this episode. What did you think about this episode overall? I think this is where we kind of started on the road to the lead up to what we would see in the finale.
Yeah, this is like where, I mean, the whole season up to this point was good, but then
Yeah.
this is where you kind of feel like, all right, now you know that the state fair is pretty much going to be the climax. Now, how are we going to get there, and what are they going to set up for the state fair? So this is where like the intrigue really starts to build up for the future episodes.
Yes. And the next episode is episode 6, House Show. This is centered around Jim's baby's baptism and new beginning in Duffy. Jack is running around prepping and promoting the upcoming match for the state fair. It turns out that the potential friendship ending blow up between Willie and Wild Bill was just the latest chapter in their history of breakups. This was where we learned a little bit more about them a couple of decades ago. Willie, Bill, and Tom Spade were building the DWL in Duffy. Willie was Bill's valet. She was also his girlfriend. But then Big League Wrestling came calling for Tom. Tom asked Willie to become his valet, and she said yes. She's sorry now, and especially when Bill, a vulnerable Bill, we have yet to see. This is like the most vulnerable he was. Finally, says consolidate into a conjugate thought, how that made him feel and how it changed him from a man capable of kindness to the Bill who threw a painful moment from their past in Willie's face. Bill admits that he loved Willie and that getting tossed for Tom messed him up. What did you think about this kind of pulling back of the curtain between the history between Bill, Willie, and Tom?
I mean, you kind of feel for Bill a little bit because you're like, damn, that is some devastating shit. And then you could also see why he has resentment towards Tom and like the whole Spade family, because he
Yeah.
he thought he was family, and Tom tried to pull the okey doke on him. So it's like it makes sense why Wild Bill has all this resentment, and he's just like, fuck it at this point. Then Willie, it's like you want to feel bad for her, but then at the same time, he's like, you did pull some spiteful shit all that time ago. Even though now she seems like she really is genuinely sorry and she just wants to move past it, you do have to kind of think like, damn, all right, now you know why Wild Bill feels like this, and it makes sense. You can't really feel all that bad for Willie. Like she's played a part in this too. And then you're also starting to learn more and more about Tom. Like Tom Spade was not a face. This man was he was a true heel.
True heel to the core. Willie admits to her mistake and apologizes for it, but it doesn't excuse what Bill said to her about the abortion that she had all those years ago, especially when she took him into her home when he seemed to have nowhere else to go. She was a fucking oasis when his world crumbled around him, and nothing that happened between them could ever excuse bringing her daughter into their conflict. And Bill says, that's why I'm apologizing. And I felt like this was one of like the best scenes, like two characters kind of like talking throughout the whole entire season. Bill says that he's sorry. Besides, Bill is jobless right now, but we don't think he came back to Duffy and Georgia just to get a shot at the DWL belt in the leaky dome. It's more like he's coming back to kind of reconcile things with Willie at that point. The trip down memory lane also reveals that Bill has been betrayed by his friend Tom, not only by asking Willie to team up with him, but also by alienating Wild Bill from the DWL. That certainly must have made Bill's mega success in the big leagues that more satisfying. Bill also had a brief encounter with Jack, who tells him he is not privy to the nuances of Bill's friendship with Tom. Well, he had a brief encounter with Jack, actually, and he said he's not privy to the nuances of Bill's relationship with Tom. And again, as we learned a lot about the relationship that Bill had with the Spade family and why there's this like resentment from Bill towards them. More truth spill out about Papa Spade, though, particularly about the destructive ways he's pitted Jack against Ace when they were kids, and continues to wreak havoc on them both individually and as brothers. We go back to when like Ace is showing off his like football arm and Tom has like big aspirations for Ace, and he kind of like just talks down to Jack. What did you think about the little flashbacks? And this was more of like an episode that kind of like gave the characters three-dimensional layers.
Yeah, I mean, and I don't want to say it was my least favorite episode because I enjoyed every episode, but it was definitely like the slowest in terms of like building towards the now or the future of the show, because it's really focused on the past and like really learning about Tom Spade, not only as a father, but like as a wrestler. They had that one video clip where he's like doing everything in his power to fucking get himself over. And Wild Bill's like, I'm never doing this shit again just to make you, you know? So you could see that Tom Spade like really was in it for himself.
Yeah.
And then as a father, like he really was like picking favorites. Like Ace was the golden child. Like he's the guy that's gonna make it. Like you're fucking mediocre. You're gonna be here with me. And he wasn't going to be in the town.
He wasn't just playing a proud father to Ace. He was like taunting Jack about as much as he was praising Ace.
Yeah, it wasn't about like, oh, look at my son. It was like, look at the son that's better than this son, which, you know, you never want to do as a father. So you see even more heel side of Tom Spade, where it's just like he's putting down one kid and he's also blowing up the head unbeknowingly of the other kid, because now the other kid's thinking he's this fucking golden child, which you could see in future time or present time that Ace thinks he thinks he's this fucking amazing superstar already when he just is barely scratching the surface. Meanwhile, Jack is this hard-nosed kid who had to learn the hard way, and now it shows through his work where he's trying to do everything the hard way as an adult and trying to juggle so much shit. So you see the damage, the long-term psychological damage that Tom Spade has caused on his kids.
The long-term psychological damage. That's the brother Spades in a nutshell. This is the tape that we're referring to is Ace. He's watching it at home, talking, and we see more of like his sports dreams were pinned to football, not wrestling. Tom's dreams for Ace were of him playing football at the highest levels, and this like intensifies the anger in Ace about feeling forced to get involved with the DWL, and the resentment at Jack for drawing him into the family business and then making him a heel on top of that. That continues to weigh heavily on Ace, who takes the occasion of the christening of Big Jim's baby Shelby to apologize to Bobby Pin for breaking his leg and to Crystal for being mean to her. He tells her she's special. For Jack, on the other end, he's supposed to also be at this christening, but he's dealing with so much about promoting the show. The wounds inflicted by his father surely still fuel him as he's obsessed with being a better wrestler and a better promoter than Tom. He writes all the scripts and keeps the championship around his waist and will seemingly do anything to make the DWL more successful than Tom ever could. So that makes him want to get this big event and sell out the whole joint with 10,000 people in attendance. But if one of the Spades is deeper into his dad's issues than the other, it's definitely Jack, whose near blind devotion to the DWL is continuing to like push his marriage to Stacy to the breaking point. He's not there when Stacy is singing at the christening. We had the squirrels. He also tells Thomas that he'll get him a gerbil in that previous episode before the dinner with the state fair people. He has his cell phones glued to his ear. He's just doing anything he can inadvertently to upset Stacy, it seems. And he doesn't even go outside with them to catch fireflies I think this is at the end of this episode. Jack is participating only in the part of his life that involves wrestling and is relying on Stacy to handle everything else, and she tells him that much, as she already has so many times that she and Thomas need more and more than the exhausted, depleted Jack. But I felt like this episode, like you said, like it wasn't much to it. That's why we won't spend too much time on it. This was more about just fleshing out all the characters that we've like grown to appreciate through here. I believe in this episode, this is also when Rooster has his original meeting with Gully, and he eventually makes the decision to go over to the FWD, and he's the first turncoat that we see on camera to the Florida wrestling dysphoria. So, what did you think about everything that went down in this episode, and like the fleshing out of the characters and the breakdown of Jack and Stacy's marriage?
Well, I definitely like the Tom Spade stuff because you start to understand more of not only who Tom Spade was, but what the effects that he had on his kids. And then you also see like the similarities between him and Jack because Jack's slowly losing it. I don't know if it was this episode or the episode prior where he goes out to the porch and where Tom shot himself, and you could kind of see him like wondering, like, did my dad do the right thing? He's kind of like contemplating, like, was he right in doing that? Like, it's just like, is this how it feels? And that's why he did it. And then he goes into his car and he's by himself and he's fucking screaming because he has no other way to like let out his anger. And he's trying to juggle all this at one time. So it's cool to see that part. And you never want to see like the marriage dissolve between him and Stacy, but like once again you see him just putting over everything else before his kids and his family. So and Stacy not only cursing more but being more numb to it and just being like, all right, fuck it, well, I'm just gonna take matters into my own hands then. And it's just like a not a repetitive thing, but it gets more, it looks like it's boiling more and more every episode where she's starting to give less of a fuck, starting to take more initiative, and she's explaining this more and more as this episodes go on, and he's not getting it more and more. He's like he's just trying to explain what he's doing and not really listening to her and absorbing that information. So it's cool to see those layers. And then, but the most important thing I think for me was Rooster, because he was just like, damn, it was like 3 episodes in a row, like, tease, like, is he gonna jump ship? Is he gonna get the fuck out of there? And then the meeting with Gully and just like an interaction that he had with Jack at the dome, it was just like, all right, he's done. He's out of here. So it's like, now it's like, is anybody gonna follow him? And now I want to see this Rooster actually go on and be happy in this other promotion. So that was the biggest takeaway for me.
Yeah, it was like kind of on the side, but that was like one of the major points was Rooster and him just eventually making the decision to go to the FWD. You also had Crystal trying to like mend the fence on what happened in the previous episode with Bobby Pin. She goes to Willie and tries to talk to her, and Willie's having none of the shit. Like, she was already like, I already didn't think you belonged here, so you just messed up by going off a script. She was also trying to mend things with Bobby Pin. Like I said, you had the interaction between Ace and Crystal as well. So there was a lot in this episode, but really it was about fleshing out everything and the follow-up to the fallout of the steel cage match, which leads into episode 7, the penultimate episode, as we at the big bad fish man, and all the puzzle pieces have fallen into place. DWL's appearance at the South Georgia State Fair is in next week's finale. This week, and then we had another pivotal father-son flashback here, as it shows Tom and Jack wrestling, sometimes literally and figuratively, over the control of the DWL. Jack approached the league's biggest sponsor, Eddie Earl, for some funds to help scuzz up the dome, a move Tom sees as Jack maneuvering behind his back. Carol tells Tom that Jack is also trying to talk Ace into skipping out on his football scholarship to join Tom and Jack in the family business. As he says, like, Jack tells Tom, like, he's not starting, he's not coachable, like, let him get in.
Go to school, and he's in a D2 school. That's what he said. He said he doesn't show up to class, he's in Division 2, and he's uncoachable. He's unfucking coachable.
And all this infuriates King Spade, who calls Jack an operator, and Tom knows one when he sees one. As for Ace, Jack thinks they need a young, fresh new face in the DWL because it's frailing and likely to go under unless something changes. Tom knows this. That's why he doesn't want Ace to join them in the fucking homemade indeed a quagmire. Jack argues that Ace doesn't go to, class and everything, like you said. And Tom snaps and challenges Jack to pin him. If he can get a 3 count, he'll sign the DWL and the dome over to Jack. Jack tries and fails and instead ends up on the ground. And Tom tells Jack, "You don't come from my shit, boy." And this explains why Tom favored Ace and determined to see him get out of Duffy, away from the family business. And it also explains why Tom was so at odds with his oldest son. Jack is in many ways just like Tom. So what did you think about this flashback here?
No, well, you definitely see the comparisons between Jack and Tom. So once again, Tom being a heel, just fucking challenging his son. Yeah, you want a piece of me, boy? Come fucking pin me. And then it's also like not also with the wrestling, they were scheduling like doctor's appointments for him and shit. And he was getting pissed about it. Like if I wanted somebody to check up on me or I wanted this, I would have fucking did it myself. So it's like you see that old school pride in him where he's like he
Yeah.
doesn't want to rely on anybody else, which is translating into what's happening with Jack now because he's like trying to handle all this shit and he doesn't want help from anybody else. He wants the script, he wants to set this up, he wants to say who wins the titles, all the creative decisions, shit like that. And it's a struggle for him to let go of that pride just like it was for Tom. So it's cool to see that aspect and then just coming over to the side of the road and just shooting on your son. I mean, it's just like now you're really starting to understand like, hey, Tom's fate he really was a piece of shit. So it's like I get it. And then you get to see that Jack was the one that started planting the seeds in Ace's mind. Like, just come work with us, come be part of the family business. So, which is, I think, something he genuinely wanted for him, but it gets lost in translation now because of their relationship.
Yeah, and we should also mention that the previous episode, a lot of this stuff between Jack and Tom was like alluded to by Wild Bill. Like he got a conversation with Stacy because Stacy has gotten a job at the grocery store and he like spills like pickles on the floor and he starts saying shit about how Jack thinks that he's better than his father, but he never have half the talent that his father did. We also see Wild Bill, he makes an accusation that Jack is the reason Tom took his own life. And that's something that he says in a rant towards Willie. Bill has no filter, of course, but he's also speaking in anger. But it's still a very curious thing for him to say because we kind of saw that flashback that maybe there's some truth to that. I don't know. Bill also told Jack previously that there was a lot of nuances to his friendship with Tom and that he had offered to help Tom and the DWL, which Tom rejected. And you could kind of see like he's already doing that with Jack. So it's kind of saying that Wild Bill is right in a lot of ways. I feel like this episode here was where you kind of saw that Wild Bill, although he's an asshole, he's not really a heel in real life. Like he wanted to help Tom, even despite all their problems that they have. Back in the present, Jack's experience those concerns himself as Charlie Gully is trying to raid Jack's pool of talent and put him out of business before the state fair exhibition. Like we said, Rooster has defected to the Florida Wrestling Dysphoria and is put in a match where he finally gets the championship belt he wanted so badly. But as Gully tells Ace later on in the show that Rooster is just the bait. Gully really wants the fish, which is Ace. And this whole conversation comes about because the FWD do a prank on the dome. They plaster all their posters across the dome. This pisses off Ace, pisses off Jack. Jack does a whole speech to the wrestlers to kind of get their mind away from that. But Ace is like interested as well as wants revenge, and he looks at the poster. He sees Rooster on social media being at the pre-show party having a bunch of fun, so he gets his mom's car, drives to Tallahassee for the pre-match pre-party. He shows up at Gully's mansion and he says that he's there to whoop Gully's ass, but Gully just talks him into having beer and tries to poach Ace into the FWD. What did you think about Gully attempting to get the fish in Ace?
Gully gives me Paul Heyman vibes. Like he could just sweet talk his way out of any situation and just bring you on his side without actually saying anything. But I mean, the whole situation with Gully is interesting because when he talks, you want to fucking believe him. Like he's really that good at making you feel like he's not really a bad guy. He's just he feels slated he feels slighted by the Spade family. And
Yeah.
just and that's all he wants to do is just put on a promotion that's better than Spade's promotion. Take their top talent, make guys feel good, make them, he just wants to create his own culture, I guess. You kind of like we were like, damn, I kind of want to be down with that too. But then there's a little part of you that's just like, all right, is this guy just a fucking money mark with a resentment, or is he really just trying to build something? So you don't really know. I mean, that's just a choice for us to choose on our own of who Gully really is. But the fact that Ace like sat down and listened is like, once again, Ace, you asshole, like, come on, use your head.
He's just always got his head up his ass, pretty much.
It should be ass spade. Head up his
we
ass spade.
We should also mention when we were talking about Big Jim's christening and Jack being all over the place trying to promote. That was when Mick Foley, we had a Mick Foley appearance as he was like the podcast host having the interview, which was kind of like the prelude to the flashback that we saw at the beginning of this episode as they talked about Tom and him killing himself and how that's affected Jack. But we kind of see it in its present tense in this episode here. Back in Duffy, Willie's running auditions at the Dome because with Rooster gone, Big Jim retired, and Bobby injured. Jack needs bodies for the state fair matches. One dude dressed in a button-down shirt and khakis pitches himself as the dad, though Bill quickly dispatches of him in the ring. Willie signs him up because she saw little else except for one other wrestler, which is none other than Crystal, who decides to do the tryout. She has a nice little exchange with Wild Bill, and even Willie tells him, and Willie, like we said, is someone that keeps telling Crystal, you don't belong here. She even tells Jack that she was the best thing out there, that she has a lot, that you don't usually have female wrestlers, but she was the most talented. Well, and Jack just wants nothing to do with it. He's still upset about what happened with Bobby Pin. So what did you think about Crystal showing her wrestling prowess here?
Well, I mean, you kind of knew it was coming. At
Yeah.
this point, you know that she's been training because she got the trampoline and shit. She's like, she wants to be a wrestler. She's been expressing that the whole season. So at this point, you know she's going to try out. You know she's going to kill it. It's just the fact of, is Jack going to be an asshole and stick to his guns and be like, oh, I'm still mad because you went off script? Or is he going to accept the fact that she's actually decent and she has the passion to wrestle and she could help and she's over with the crowd? But no, Jack just being an asshole still and says no. So it's bittersweet because you're like, oh, damn, at least Crystal showed what she can do and she's good at it. But at the same time, Jack ain't having it.
Yeah, and Jack kind of says that part of the reason is because this will deeply affect Ace, and Willie responds to him and wonders why no one is concerned about how she feels about Wild Bill. So it's a kind of a nice, and this actually adds a lot to Willie's character as we see later on in the show. She like has a breakdown in front of her husband because of like all the emotions that Wild Bill has like brought out of her, bringing up the past when she's kind of left it behind her. Crystal and Ace have seemingly made up as Ace is at Gully's house. He spends the night there. He has sex with one of the valets there, and they're about to have sex at the arena before he comes out. But a high and drunk Ace calls Crystal instead, saying that he's going to call his sick mother. He calls her from Tallahassee when his nerves and indecision are about abandoning the DWL, and his brother get to him. And Crystal turns around and tells Jack instead and tells him earlier on in the show, she had told him, like, she apologized for everything and wanted to, come back to the DWL, but Jack wanted to hear nothing of it. So he thinks that she's trying to make another attempt at it, but she shows him that she really cares about the DWL by telling him about what Ace is about to do. Jack is he disrupts movie night with Stacy and Thomas to go get his brother and avoid losing another big star from the DWL. And basically we get to the arena where Ace is about to debut. He gives him a new jacket for him. We see Rooster win the championship there, and that's when Gilly tells him the line that Rooster is just the bait, you're the fish, and he's gonna beat Rooster for the championship next week because they're gonna run a show to go against the State Fair exhibition. This also brings a level of doubt to Ace once again, and Gully is in the ring. He's about to introduce Ace, and that's when Jack comes through the crowd and punches the shit out of Gully, and he repeats what his dad said to him at the beginning of this episode: "Don't come from my shit, boy." And I thought that this was the perfect beginning and end because it was foreshadowed and we didn't even know it. So, what did you think about this one?
Yeah, it's probably the best line of the show. Don't come for my shit, boy. But I mean, it was one of my favorite episodes because I'm really intrigued. Like, is Ace gonna go out? Is he not gonna go out? Is he gonna turn on Gully? Like, is this a ploy or is he really gonna jump ship? And then when you see Jack come out the crowd and just fuck Gully up, you're like, yeah, like this is like the first face move that Jack has all season. You're like, yeah, this motherfucker came out to save his brother. And it's just like it's the fact that not only does he care about the DWL, but he does care about his brother. And he's there
Yeah.
for his brother's protection as well as his company's protection. But he really just wants to save his brother. And that becomes even more evident in the finale. But I mean, just the way to end this episode, it had us ready for the finale. It was just the perfect way to prime us up and be like, yeah, I'm ready for this fucking episode now. I'm ready to see what goes down in the fair.
Absolutely. So the final episode is called The Double Turn, and we start immediately where episode 7 ended, and I thought that was perfect because I was telling wifey while I'm watching it, I was like, it needs to start with him saying, "Come get him, get him."
Oh, somebody get this motherfucker. Yeah.
We see a bottle go across Jack's face in a nice little slow-mo. We see Jack try to run out the ring into the back. He's tackled by one of the wrestlers, and Ace comes and tackles him off of him. So once again, the Spade brothers team up with one another. This was like a great one-shot scene where they're pushing through everybody, fighting off security, fighting off different wrestlers, running to the car and getting the fuck out of town. They have a nice little like conversation with one another where he tells him Ace is trying to apologize, telling that he let Gully manipulate him, and he's a good negotiator, a good talker, while Jack tells him, I'm going to let you be a babyface again. We're going to get you to be a babyface again in this match at the State Fair. He talks about like how he always wanted more for him, and he's the one that wanted him to become a big star in wrestling. Ace asks him straight up, were you responsible for the Kleenexes? And Jack doesn't say no, but he kind of talks around it without saying yes or no. And it kind of,
that fucking question. And he's like, yeah. Like,
how dare you ask me that fucking question? And what did you think about this whole conversation between the Spade brothers in the car?
I mean, prior to that, if there's one scene out of this season that you have to watch, is literally that one shot where they're just tossing security guards, tossing motherfuckers through walls and into gates and shit, trying to get out. And this guy, it was like an action movie, like just in those 3 minutes. Like, it was great. But then the convo is really deep because like it's the first time the whole season where you see these guys really actually apologize to each other and accept the apology, because Ace is the first one to be like, I know I fucked up. I'm stupid. I'm young and dumb. I make these impulsive decisions. I'm a little high because this guy's giving me alcohol and cocaine all day. Like, I had a bad lapse of judgment. I really just want to be here, but I just want to be a face and do my thing. And it's basically Ace or Jack saying, I understand. And I kind of failed because I need to protect you, like, as your older brother, and I need to protect you from yourself. Everything I did was to protect you from yourself because I love you and I don't want to see you fuck your life up, like, so it's like where they finally have that heart to heart and they finally can understand the motives of one another. It was cool to see. It took 8 episodes, but it was cool to see.
Yes, and this is like a turning point. We think the Spade brothers are on the same page. We're just building up to the final, the big state fair. We see Gully in the back with the FWD performers, and it's Rooster who kind of comes up with the best idea for them, saying that you can't do what Jack did. You have to kind of the way to get to Jack is to have him not manipulate the fans and have them do something that he doesn't expect. So this gives Scully his idea to kind of disrupt what they're going to do at the state fair. On the other end, there we see like training bits with Wild Bill, Ace, and Jack. Wild Bill recruits Crystal to become his bunny bombshell, to be his like valet for the big show. So Crystal is welcomed back into the DWL. Willie, has a big like coming to Jesus moment with her family, hugging before the big event, saying that it's almost over. Jack is still dealing with Stacy, who's left him and stayed at her friend Courtney's house. She's going to be at the rodeo doing the national anthem while the state fair is going on, so she can't be there and he can't be there for her. We even see like Jack before the big matchup. He's like trying to watch it on his phone, but he's not able to do that because his match is next. We see like this big speech by Jack, a great like rally speech for all the crowd. It reminded me of Paul Heyman's speech before Barely Legal in Beyond the Mat with the ECW gang, where he's like, we're all family, some through blood, some through sweat, and this is our big moment. We see the state fair, the big arena. It's awesome. It looks great. The state fair officials are impressed by it. We see a match with Big Jim is back, and he teams up with Ricky Rabies to verse Apocalypse and I think it was Diego, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we see that matchup before the main event. Wild Bill, we see early on in the show, Wild Bill is given drugs by Diego, and he tells him he wants like the harder shit, and Diego tells him, that the harder shit is gonna make you piss blood and shit yourself. And Wild Bill is like, well, fuck, you're not my sponsor or anything. You're just get me the shit. And we see Wild Bill is affected by it early on, but we don't know how he's gonna be affected during the match, but we will see. So we finally get to the match. Wild Bill cuts a promo to rally up the crowd beforehand. Ace and Jack come out. We see the matchup going on. Wild Bill is taken off the ladder by Ace, and outside the ring, he shits himself. So he lays on the mat. It's supposed to be an ending where it's Wild Bill and Ace at the top of the ladder, and they're fighting off. During the match, Jack and Wild Bill team up on Ace, so the fans are behind Ace again. They're cheering for Ace. But then we see Gully is in the crowd with the FWD guys. They start cheering for Jack, which surprises Willie and everybody in the back. They're like confused by that. And then he has given over 300 Kleenexes to the people in the crowd, so they 3,000 or so, and they start pelting it after ring. So we see Jack and Ace are at the top of the ladder. They're going to do the final spot where Ace is supposed to win, but Ace is like, were you behind this? And Jack, throughout this whole episode, Jack wants to tell him after his conversation with Stacy, where she was like, telling him, I found out about the Kleenexes and stuff, you should tell Ace. He finally tells him when they're on top of the ladder. Ace legit punches Jack, and he starts laying into Jack, fucking him up, hitting him in the ribs, hitting him in the face. He nearly chokes him and tries to kill. He said he wants to kill him, but it's Crystal who's kind of talked into getting into the ring. She takes off the bunny bombshell headgear, and she tells Ace, let's do the thing from outside the bar. So we have a call back to that episode. She does a hurricane rana to Ace. She suplexes Jack, which was a callback to the previous episode where she couldn't body slam Wild Bill. She starts climbing the ladder. All the fans are behind him. Gully tries to come out the crowd and disrupt it. Wild Bill, although he doesn't want to embarrass himself with the shit on his pants,
He's all shitty. He's all shitty.
He's not gonna let Gully ruin this moment, so he clotheslines Gully, and Crystal gets the championship belt, and we end the show with Crystal as the new DWL champion. Ace looks at Jack. Jack nods at Ace, and Ace just walks off, and Ace walking to the back is the ending of the season. What did you think about the finale and the ladder match and Crystal winning, Chris?
Well, Crystal winning was a nice twist. That was definitely something I didn't see, but something that was welcomed because you get behind Crystal towards the end, and you know how bad she wants to be a wrestler. So for her to put on those few moves and then climb the ladder and grab that title and just solidify her spot. I mean, it's a feel good ending. It really is, even though
Yeah.
there's a lot of unanswered animosity. Um, not only between the brothers, of course, of what went down, but you still got FWD in the background, and you still have animosity in there because it's revealed to Rooster that Gully did promise Ace the title.
Yes.
So when Gully says, "Oh, this motherfucking title, right? We'll have that's a
My
convo
motherfucking
for
title.
yeah, my motherfucking title, right? That's a convo for another day." So now you also in the back of your mind, you never know with the FWD, there could be some animosity within themselves as well, because Gully's getting clothesline and shit. Speaking of shit, probably the best part of the season is Wild Bill shitting himself, and then having the heart and finally the right intentions of trying to save the DWL and clotheslining Gully, risking the fact that he's all mud butt and he got shit hanging out of his drawers, and you see it visibly. There's a nice big pile of shit on the apron as he gets up. I mean, it's hilarious. It had me laughing so much, but just a great way to end the season. Just so much questions unanswered, which leaves it open for next season. Hopefully, if they have one, and then it feels good, man. I like Crystal winning.
Yeah, I thought that was the perfect ending. It was something that you could have seen coming, but you weren't really sure, and then they paid it off perfectly. So that brings us to an end on Heels season 1. So Chris, out of 10, what did you give the whole season?
Shit, I mean, I don't want to be a fucking mark and give it a 10, but I will say I'll give it a 9. Just because even outside of the wrestling aspect, it was solid acting throughout, solid storylines and plots, and like the right integration of wrestling. Sure, there's a lot of pulling back the curtain, but I mean that's to be expected. So I enjoyed it. I really did enjoy the whole season from episode 1 to 8.
I'm going to also agree with you. 9 out of 10 for me. Your MVP of the season, I'm going to go with Crystal. Crystal like had the most development, the most evolution throughout the whole season, so I got to give it to her.
Yeah, I mean, out of everybody who suffered like heartbreaks or trials and tribulations throughout this show, I mean, you want to give it, I kind of want to give it to Bobby Fish because he was like the truest, purest character on the show. But then at the same time, Crystal wasn't really a piece of shit and she fought so hard to get to where she got at the end. So, I mean, it's a feel good story for her. So I'm gonna have to agree. I'll pick Crystal as well. And Ricky Rabies, fuck it. He's back, baby. He's back.
Gotta show love to Ricky Rabies. Ricky Rabies, gotta show his picture there.
That might be Ricky Rabies for Halloween, man. Fuck it. I'm about to start growing this mullet.
Get wifey to be Vicky.
Good luck with that.
LVP, I'm gonna go with Gully. Gully's gotta be the LVP because yeah.
Gully, I'm gonna have to give it to Wild Bill too because like he started off as this big, top scout for this fucking big corporation in the beginning, and then at the end he lost. He shit himself. He did save the day, but now going into next season, he has to live with the aftermath of shit in his pants in the main event. So I'm gonna have to go with Wild Bill.
That is true. That is true. Wild Bill does deserve some LVP credit.
shitty butt Wild Bill.
And that brings us to a close on Heel Stars Season 1. Thank you, Chris, for joining me to recap episodes 1 through 8. Give us your MVP, LVP, our rating for the season. Please tell the Patreons where they can find you on social media, sir.
You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at True Heel Chris G. And then you could also see me on the True Heel Heat YouTube channel. Every week we cover NXT 2.0. So we do NX3 Tuesday nights live, 10:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thursdays, we also cover me and my good brother Ness, Romeo Anthony Colon on Tuesdays. On Thursdays is me and Ness. We do Blunt Impact Live 10:15 where we cover Impact Wrestling. Monday night, was it Rated Raw Superstars? We're also there sometimes. And you could also see me on Friday Night Warriors, where we cover SmackDown and Rampage. It's a watch along. So come watch along with us on the YouTube channel. It's always a good time. You'll usually catch either me, Romeo, or Ness, or all three of us on there. So check those out. And we just dropped a few videos on the YouTube channel. We got the Knockout Knockdown review which we just dropped today or last night, and yeah, the rest of the schedule for the week.
Yes, and you can find me on the Twitter machine at True Heel SP3. True Rewind will drop on Tuesday on the YouTube channel. Check out the Patreon. Become a $3 backer for content like this. Let us know what you thought in the comment section. Tell us if you want more reviews like this for season 2. Maybe we can do each episode review, and we can give us more of a synopsis at the end instead of boring down each episode. So like this, support the Patreon, and sign it for Chris G. It is me, your True Heel Phenom SP3. This has been our Heels Season 1 review. We are signing off until next time.